In the previous video, we have discussed about Java editions, Java versions, and the history of Java. Before moving to JVM architecture, let's understand about the features of Java. So the first, these are all the features of Java: platform independent, simple, secure, portable, robust, multi-threaded, interpreted, high performance, distributed, dynamic. So these are also can be called as Java buzzwords. Java buzzwords, features of Java, they're all the same. And the first and foremost thing that we need to understand in this is Java platform independent. How Java has achieved this platform independency. This is something which is very much important and completely different to C programming language. We know that C is a platform dependent programming language. Why we are calling C as platform dependent programming language? Because the code in which we are compiling on the same operating systems, the code can be executed, right? So what is the major difference between in C programming and in Java programming? What is the major difference that helped us to achieve this platform independency? To understand this, let's execute a small code and then look into the difference. So I'm not using any of the IDE to execute the code. For first few days, I'll be just using Notepad to write the source code and command prompt to execute the code. In order to create any of the Java program or the application, first we need to create a class. In order to create a class, we need to use a keyword called class. We need to use a keyword called class, followed by class name. So you can give any of the class name. So just I'm giving my class name as first program and followed by the class block. Java execution always starts from the main method. In Java, we write the main method in this way: public. Public is a keyword. Static is also a keyword. Void is a return type. And main is the name of the method, which takes parameter. Main is a method which takes parameter. What does it take as a parameter? It takes an array as a parameter. So let's assume the name of the array is args. Just closing my parenthesis again, method block. And array is of type. What kind of a array it is? When we're talking about an array, we have to tell it whether it's an integer type array or character type an array. So main method is holding an array of type string. Main method is holding an array of type string. So if you just look here, this is the name of the class. First program is called the class name. This is a keyword. Main is the name of the method. And it is taking an array as parameter. of type string. And if you can clearly see here, string is something that is starting with an uppercase, and that is also a name of a class. And if you can see here, our class name that is also starting with uppercase. So in Java, anything that starts with an uppercase is called a class, right? So hope just make it clear. Right. So class, public, static, all these are your keywords. Class, public, static, and all these are your keywords. Class is a keyword, public is a keyword, static is a keyword, and void is also a keyword. These are all your keywords. These are all your keywords. So if I just wanted to print, anything on the console, I use the method called println. And how do I write the method? Sys system dot out dot println. So I'm just printing code. Right? That's it. So this is our simple first program. And whenever you're saving the file, you have to save it with .java extension with the class name. So my class name is first program .java. So whenever you're saving, make sure that you are saving it with .java extension and save the file. So I'm just clearing the screen now. I hope now this is clear. So how do you compile the code? So in order to compile the code, Windows R command prompt. So this is where we compile our source code. Our code is present in a drive called D drive. So first I need to enter into D drive. So in order to move from C drive to D drive, just simply type D colon. So you'll move from C drive to D drive. And in D drive, my code is present in a folder called YouTube. So I'm just typing CD. CD is resembling change directory followed by the folder name. Here I need to compile my code because my file is present in this particular location. So whenever you are trying to compile the code from the command prompt, make sure your path is exactly the same as the location of your file. So my file is presently located in YouTube. So that is the reason I have passed this as the location. Now, in order to compile the source code, we use javac space file name. What is my file name? First. This is how I compile my source code. First program.java. So once the code is compiled, if you can see here, there is a new file that is being created, that is first program.class. Or if you have still any dot, I'm just deleting it again. See now, as of now, I have only one file with the name first program. And that is a Java file. You can see here the type. Now I'm trying to compile it. So in order to compile it, javac first program.java. And you can see the dot class that is being created. If you're not giving this path, for example, when you're trying to compile but in D drive, you'll get an error. Okay. Okay. That means there might be a file in this particular location with the name first program. That is, yeah, that is the reason the file got compiled. Now I'm deleting this. And now I'm trying to compile it. Error, could not found first program.java source Java source files. What does it mean? It is not able to find, command prompt is unable to detect the Java source files with the file name called first program.java in which location in D drive. So it is going to search only in the D drive. It is not going to search in the subfolders of the D drive. That is the reason it is mandatory for you to give the exact location of your Java source code. So I need to move from C drive to one of the subfolder, and my subfolder name is YouTube. That is the reason given cd space YouTube. Now I can compile my source code from this particular location. Now, the whole story lies in this dot class file. If you clearly remember, when you are executing C program, right? So first you create a .c file, that is your source code. Now, once you compile the source code, that is your C file, once you compile the source code, you will get .exe file, that we call it as an executable file. And when you are compiling the source code, it will check on which operating system you are compiling the source code. And this particular exe file can be executed only on the same operating system on which you have compiled. For example, if you have compiled it on Windows, you can execute it only on Windows. If you compile the C code on Mac operating system, then you can be executed only on Mac. If you compiled it on Linux, then it can be executed only on Linux. That is the major drawback of your C programming language. That is why we call it as C as platform dependent. But whereas in Java, we are not calling as platform dependent. Java is platform independent. How Java has achieved the platform independency? That is what you're going to look now. So the difference is when you create a .java file, that is your source code, and when you compile the source code, you are not going to get an executable file, but you are going to get a .class file. This .class file is not an executable file. This is not an executable file. This is only Java intermediate code. This is only the Java intermediate code. So When we are compiling the Java source code, it is not communicating with the operating system, and it will not give you the machine dependent bytecode as it is given in C programming language. It will directly give you a machine independent code, and that independent code, we call it as a Java intermediate code. And when we are trying to execute it, it communicates with JVM, and JVM will execute this. And here in this process, here it will communicate with the operating system and then produce you the output. But whereas in C programming language, once you are compiling, then only it will communicate you with, then only it will communicate with the operating systems and produce you the bytecode. .c, you are compiling. Compiler will communicate with OS, and here it will give the .exe file, and this will be executed. And this will be executed. This is the major difference between C and Java compilation. When the Java code is created, it is not directly communicating with the operating system during the compilation. It is only communicated with the operating system during the execution that is taken by the JVM. Now let's understand how the internal process of JVM work. So this is your bytecode. All right. This is your bytecode that is present in .class file. And this .class file can be executed on any kind of operating system. That means it can be executed on Windows, it can be executed on Linux, it can be executed on Solaris, it can be executed on Mac. This .class file can be executed on any of the operating system. So this is the internal structure of JVM. So if you clearly see here, this is our source code. This is a source code that is talking about the .java file. So in our case, this is our first program.java, and I'm compiling it. So when I'm compiling it, it is communicated with the Java compiler, and it is giving me the Java bytecode. It is giving me, that is our .class file. That, what does it consist? It does not contain any machine dependent code, but it contains the Java bytecode. And when we are trying to execute it, using the command called Java or the tool called Java, and you're compiling with Java C, it communicates with the Java virtual machine, which is residing in Java runtime environment. If you can see here, this is our Java virtual machine, which is present in the runtime environment. That is your JRE. So JVM plays a major role in making Java as platform independent. So when you're trying to execute the Java source code, when you're executing the .class file, first the class is loaded, then the bytecode is verified. It checks whether it's a Java bytecode or not. Then it gets passed on to the Java interpreter. This Java interpreter is unique for every operating system. This Java interpreter is unique for every OS. So Windows operating system has a unique interpreter, Linux operating system has a unique interpreter, Next, Mac operating system has a unique interpreter. This Java interpreter is platform dependent. Once the code is perfectly loaded and the bytecode is again communicated with just-in-time compiler. Whatever the Java bytecode is, that is communicated with just-in-time compiler, and it is again recompiled, communicating with the operating system. And here it generates the machine-dependent code. Here it generates a mission-dependent code and then communicates with the operating system and then produces the output. This is how the internal structure of JVM will work. So hope now you're clear with the difference between C and Java, the execution process and execution style of C and Java programming language. What is the major difference? How Java has achieved platform dependency, and what is the major role of Java virtual machine? Here you need to understand about these points. What is JITC stands for? We call it as just-in-time compiler. So this is something which is important, which is used to convert your Java bytecode to machine-dependent code. Next, Java interpreter. Every operating system has a unique interpreter. Then here it communicates with the operating system and then produces that. Hope everyone are clear with this. Now, these are just for another idea. These are some of the popular Java apps that have been developed. So I think everyone are clear and everyone know what is Wikipedia, right? So Wikipedia has something called Elasticsearch, and that Elasticsearch is developed using Java. Hadoop, everyone know what is Hadoop and how popular it is. Even the framework of it has been developed using Java. Tesla, H2OA.ai, that is one of the artificial intelligence application, even that is developed using Java. Not only these kind of applications and the applications that are being developed in NASA, some of the applications are also developed using Java in NASA, like small body mapping tool, JMars and JMoon. These are some of the applications that have been developed in Java. This is just for your reference. Hope you all understood about the difference between JDK, JVM, JRE, history of Java, what is the internal structure of JVM. Thank you all. If you have any doubts, you can mail me at codebayprogramming@gmail.com.